Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. It's the big one this weekend. It's Liverpool versus Manchester United. I'm excited and you should be too, so let's get stuck into it. So this is the first of what will become weekly episodes out every Friday. This one's on Saturday with the game being on Monday. I wanted to make sure I was up to date on all the news around Liverpool. But it'll basically be covering the week's events and what's going to happen over the weekend's game. So, of course, the big news this weekend was the injury to Gini Wijnaldum on international duty with Holland. And what we've just found out today on Friday is that it's not actually a hamstring injury with him, it's actually a hip injury. And this is good news for Liverpool because it means that there is a chance he will be available for Man United. Add to that the fact that Adam Lallana's very much touch and go. He might be available, he might not, and things are looking a bit more rosier for the Reds. Now, midfield isn't exactly a place on the pitch where Liverpool are short of personnel, and as we saw against Swansea, Felipe Coutinho is perfectly fine dropping back into that number 8 position in the midfield 3 and having Daniel Sturridge operate as the 9 and Roberto Firmino out on the left. And of course, if Gini Wijnaldum and Adam Lallana are both injured, Emre Can is always there to come in. So all in all, despite the injury news this week, Liverpool have every reason to be optimistic going into this game. And that leads us into my next section, which is 3 reasons why I think we will beat Manchester United. So the first reason is none other than Mr. Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp is a manager who thrives on big games. He showed that at Dortmund against Bayern Munich, and he's shown that so far with Liverpool against teams like Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and also Manchester United in the Europa League. He's capable of getting big results in the big games, in particular derbies and rivalry matches. And his system is tailored very well to playing against teams that play a more high-pressing, high-defensive line. Man City were the perfect example of this, where Liverpool were brilliant at hitting them on the break, catching their defenders out, and getting as many goals as they possibly can. My second reason is Daniel Sturridge, who has had no trouble scoring against Manchester United in the past. In fact, since he joined Liverpool, he has scored against them in every single season while he's been here, and hopefully this season will be no exception. Add to that the fact that, for me, he looked quite sharp against Swansea. He was getting chances, he was just inches away from scoring at every opportunity, and I think, given time, he'll find that form, he'll find those goals, and this weekend would be the perfect time to get it. And finally, Liverpool are just boss at the moment. We've been so good in our recent games. We're really bossing it in the league. We're bossing it in the League Cup. And I think that Man United could really get rolled over at Anfield if we show up and play the way we have in previous games this season. So with the international break just gone and having played 9 competitive fixtures already this season, I think now's a good time to pick what I would call my player of the season so far. And I've come up with 4 nominees for this. I've gone with Joel Matip, Jordan Henderson, Adam Lallana and Sadio Mane. Joel Matip, for me, he's adapted so well to English football, and he talked about this over the summer, how he spent a lot of time in the gym working on his physique, working on his strength, and being able to deal with the different kind of attacking play that comes in the Premier League. And that has allowed him to become a really commanding presence in Liverpool's back 4. He comes across very calm on the ball, he's happy to play it out from the back, happy to be no nonsense, and also deals really well with physical one-on-one battles, as we saw at Stamford Bridge against Diego Costa. Next up is the captain Jordan Henderson, who last season came in for so much stick. He had so many injuries, he never really got going and never really hit the form that made him Liverpool's captain for the season in the first place. And I think this season he's really been proving the doubters wrong. He's thriving in that number 6 role. He's dictating play all over the pitch. He pulls the strings for every player on the team, and he really is vital at the moment. And him getting the captain's armband for England has really shown how far Jordan Henderson has come since just the start of the season, really. And since the first international break, he's been in contention for man of the match in every single game he's played, in my opinion. And moving a bit further forward, you've got Adam Lallana, who's been an absolute revelation this season. He's added goals to his game, which is a big criticism of him last season. He's a very important component in Jurgen Klopp's counter-pressing system, and his energy and desire really gets the crowd on their feet, and it's really good to see from a Liverpool player. And finally, Sadio Mane, who's turned out to be such a brilliant signing for Liverpool. He's added pace, he's added width, and he's added end product, which are all things that we were missing last season, particularly in games where we were dominating and playing against a team that would play a far back defensive line. In addition to this, Mane also brings unpredictability on the ball, which is something we haven't really seen since Suarez. We've been crying out since he left for a player who, whenever they get the ball, the fans are getting really excited and not really knowing what they're going to do next. And if the fans don't know, then opposition defenders don't know, and that can always be a good thing. And the winner of player of the season so far for me, it has to be Jordan Henderson. He's responded so well to criticism, not just from last season, but also in his first few performances this season. A lot of people were questioning his ability in the number 6 role and whether he was right for it. And most people were expecting Emre Can to come in for him as soon as he came back to fitness, but Jordan Henderson really has made that role his own this season, and he's starting to show that maybe he isn't such a bad replacement for Steven Gerrard after all. So that's all for this week. Hopefully next time I see you guys, I'll be dancing on the ceiling and we'll be 6 points ahead of Man U, having beaten them at Anfield. Here's hoping. See you next week.